Hello doll friends, this is Michael Kanadas with the Carmel Doll Shop and the Grovian Doll Museum. Welcome to our channel. Today we're going to start a new feature, and in order for me to set this up for you, I have to give you a little backstory. 25 years ago, David and myself went to visit a lovely lady in Virginia to do an article on her collection. Lady's name was Gae Linda Ward, for those of you collectors that knew her or might have known her. She was a lovely person, and it was a very interesting collection for us to photograph and write about. While we were there in her charming farm, we stayed overnight, and we were upstairs in one of the bedrooms, and both David and I were just amazed that we heard no human sounds. It was just the wind and animal sounds. It was just so peaceful. We went out that night and looked at the sky, and we could see stars. And we had such a wonderful time there on her property that before we left, we said, Gae, if for ever some reason you sell this property, we would really be interested. We knew that she really loved it, and it was for her ever home. So many times in the last 25 years, she and I and David have talked about her farm, her home, and about a year ago she passed, and I was sitting in this very chair right now where I'm sitting, and I was thinking to myself about our life, and I thought, kind of like the Peggy Lee song, is that all there is? We've had a wonderful 40-year career. We have a nice home life here. What's next? And right when I was thinking that, a text came in from our friend Kathy Turner with a photograph of this yellow house. And she said, guess where I am? And I immediately wrote her back and I said, Kathy, is the family considering selling the farm? And she wrote back, yes, they are. As a matter of fact, they asked us if we knew a buyer. So on Tuesday morning, I called up the executor of the estate, and I had a little talk, and we talked about various things. And next thing you know, we are now the owners of Gae Gardens. Now, to our friends that think things are going to change here, no, we're not moving from California. We are still the Grovian Doll Museum and Carmel Doll Shop here. But what David and I realized is we need a place where we can go and have complete escapism and not think about our business. And this was the perfect opportunity for us. So not only did we get the farm, we also, with the deal, we have all the dolls in the house, all the furniture, everything. Now, it's the name of the place, Gae Gardens, is a play on words, and you'll figure that out as we go along. This is really, really a fixer, and there's going to be a lot of changes happening, and again, something that just worked out just perfectly. When this all happened, we happened to have a young gentleman coming to a sewing class the same time when all this was happening, who happened to be a realtor, and that's Jason. And Jason's going to be a part of the journey because he's managing the property. He doesn't live that far from it. And you will be having videos from Jason. Like, I know in the future he has to clean out the attic, which is stuffed to the rafters with all kinds of things. He has to deal with the furniture that's in the house, and he has to deal with packing up the dolls and sending them to us. So I hope you enjoy this outside tour of Gae Gardens. This one was on me. The next time will be on Jason and David, and we're going to show you from start to finish, the complete restoration of this wonderful property. Now, there's a lot of people that'll say, Michael and David are crazy. We have done a lot of things that people have said cannot be accomplished such as creating a business out of something that no one really needs to have, they want to have. And then we had the realization at our age, if we don't do this now, when? So I hope you enjoy this tour of Gae Gardens. Bye-bye, friends. Well, doll friends, here we are at our new project. As some of you know that know us, David and I love to do historic restorations, whether they're antiques or dolls, but I think this is going to be, and buildings, this is going to be one of our biggest renovation, restoration programs ever. So I'm going to take you in and show you this property. We have known this property for 25 years, and it has been something that we've talked about and hope that one day maybe we could own it, and the opportunity came up and we took it, just like a couple of cuttlefish grabbed it as fast as we can. So I'm going to walk you through. There's quite a driveway, and it has been uncared for many, many years. Once upon a time, this was a oyster shell driveway, and you can see little remnants of the oyster shells, which that'll be fun to restore, collect up the shells, and break them down. You can see here's a few right there, but they're all impacted under all the overgrowth. This we're going to put up ultimately a gate for just to keep the nosy people out, which we're really out in the country here, so there's not that many people to keep out. There's a lot of wonderful original features to the property. Beautiful mature trees. It's something that is kind of hard to find in properties that the trees have survived. Usually they're cut down all around the houses. And I can see that David is sitting on the porch swing, something that an Illinois boy loves. But here's what I would consider the front garden. Again, completely overgrown, not very well managed, but beautiful trees for privacy. And there David is sitting in the ruins of Tara, swinging on the swing. You can see that one of the first things to be done is the porch is falling down. Bad shape, lots of negatives about it, but one of the positives is it has the original columns still in place. So that's fantastic. I'll get back up so you can see the house. Has a lot of original details still there, like the corbels, lots and lots of them, but we're missing some trim. So that'll have to be replicated. And we believe it has the original roof that is 140 years old, but that's going to have to be replaced, and some chimney work, and of course paint. And the big stump, actually it's pretty much gone, but they have just left it there. And here on this view you can see the corbels are really great. So there's a lot of decisions to be made about the roof and what type of roof, what color, but we will do that. Of course the steps are going to have to be replaced. They're aggregate, which was not historically accurate. And the screen door is perhaps one of the most unappealing things I've ever seen. And I don't remember this ladder being here the other day, but maybe someone's been over to do some things. And of course, all the bricks that are laying around have fallen off the chimney and need to be put back. But I want you to see the corbels are really nice. That's kind of a nice feature to get. And we're missing a window in the attic, but we think we have already found a new replacement window. So we'll go over to the side of the house, and as I walk you there, I'll show you some of the land. It's been farmed for many years with the gentleman's agreement with the farmer who farms it, but he doesn't really realize that we're going to take some of it back. We're going to take back this whole spot here. It's not going to take that much away from him. I mean, he doesn't really have any say in it, but to that tree. And he'll still have a lot of land to farm. I don't appreciate how he just knocked down trees and pushed them down into the gully. So that's going to be rectified. But here you can see the side view. This is the view as you drive in that you'd see, and you can see it's got the nice corbels are still there, but it needs the chimney work. And some lovely trees, which I love. Big mature ones, probably as old as the house. I say that, but I need to have a tree specialist come. David and I need to have a tree specialist come because we don't necessarily always understand trees in this part of the world. We can tell how old they are by where we live. And then this is a smokehouse, which is really rare to still have one on a property, and it needs complete restoration. That is going to be David's workshop, and when I say workshop, it'll be when he's working on things here. Most likely it'll be furniture and little small projects. There's a lot of bric-a-brac on the property that's got to go bye-bye, and we will get rid of it all. And here's another beautiful mature tree. And a couple of old wells that have, these are don't service the house anymore. So we will do some camouflaging them to make them disappear. And then the back porch, this is where pretty much everybody who's visited this house in the past, this is how they've come in, and we've got lots of plans on that. And then here's the back side of the house. Got quite a bit of work to do on the back side. There's some rot issues. The roof was leaking, which, you know, if you don't have a good roof, there's no point of doing anything. So that'll have to be done. And you can see this backside has got the trim is in excellent condition. So I think we'll probably take that off and use it as a template for the front. And no corbels in the back. So everything was done for show. And you can see there's probably the worst part inside the house. You can see where it happened, where there's the rot at the roof line. So that will repair. Here's the side of the house. You can see it's just very peaceful. There's really very little human made sounds. So that's wonderful. And there hasn't been anybody here for a while, so when you walk around, got a little softness. from the moles. So there's quite a few moles around. So I think some kitties have to come into play. And this meadow, once upon a time this is where horses were, and this is going to turn into a garden with some wonderful focal points in the future. And of course there's cardinals around, which I love. I'm not used to seeing cardinals. And this area here was once a little herb garden. And we probably won't have herbs there, but there'll be some kind of feature. What's interesting about the property, it's all slopey and lots of wonderful natural landscape that will make, I think, for beautiful gardening in the future. This little chicken house is going to be relocated because I don't really like the way it looks from the inside. But you can see here the smokehouse. It's going to need some repair. And then once upon a time there were some swings on the tree, and you can see this is a beautiful tree, just beautiful. And another beautiful tree. We'll walk down to the barn. And it's been pretty well roped off. Now, I am not a total expert in this type of architecture, but I kind of feel, and I'm going to have someone come out to advise David and me about this. It is built with square nails, so there is the possibility that the barn is actually older than the house. The house is circa 1875, but there are some architectural elements in the house that seem to be earlier, which could be just because the person who just had it designed was, just say, old-fashioned. So that we don't know. But the barn has a lot of very early elements to it, and it's loaded with junk. It's loaded with furniture. It probably has some of the original furniture that went with the house, but it's in really, really terrible condition. And there are boxes and boxes of antique dolls that have been just left to disintegrate. And I will climb over it, and if I can, hold the camera and climb over this feeble little fence that really, I don't think could keep anything out, but I'll just see if I can do it. And I'll show you the view of the house this would be from the barn. And if you hear things falling down, there's these giant walnuts, which we're not used to seeing walnuts like this. I'll show you. Ours in California are smaller. But you can see we've got quite a bit of work to do here. And we'll salvage wood from the other dilapidated buildings and try to fix it. And of course, the woods have taken over. So this one stall is fairly nothing in it. But you can see in this one, it's just loaded with stuff. Here's some late things, but there are some earth pieces. And Jason, who's going to manage a lot of this, will have a crew come and clean this all out. It's going to take a few dumpsters to get all the junk out of here. But you can see it's very early looking construction. And I can see some wasp nests there. But considering it has been neglected for a lot of years, it's in a lot better shape than it could be. And of course, this is going to all be carefully cleared out. That will keep the good trees and remove the parasitic trees and the dead trees to give the forest a little health, little health treatment. And then I'm really looking forward to clearing out a path down this way, because down this little hill there's a stream and there's a pond and there's a beaver pond down there. The good news is that we're up high enough that the beavers don't come up here to tear up trees, but I wish they would get busy in this little area. It would be a great place for them to find goodies. So I'm going to try to climb over this feeble fence. All it's here is to really I guess at one point it would keep the horses in, but it wouldn't take much for a horse to knock that over. So that's all gonna be removed because it's just ridiculous. We'll try to recycle some of it, but wouldn't take much to knock it over. And here you can see, this is not our style where you make a big pile of debris and then you just leave it there for 20 years and don't do anything about it. A wood chopper would take care of that pretty quick. So that we'll deal with. And here's the remains of what was once an herb garden. But you can see it's very slopey and lovely, and I do love that kind of garden design. Sorry for the shakiness. This is all just by hand. This is a sad little workshop that was just left to fall down. And again, it has a lot of early elements to it, so we really do need to have someone look at these outbuildings. This one we won't save. I think it's obviously too far gone, but we will salvage all of the wood that we can. And there might be something interesting in there, you just don't know. And you can see there was a gate. This gate went to the barn. So it's quite a ways over to the barn. And we'll get this cleared out. All this little foresty area. It's a forest now, I don't think it always was. Cleared out so we can use it. And here's another shed or barn, if you like. And again, you can see for a few generations, if they got rid of something, they just threw it in the barn. And again, that is not our style. So this is all going to have to go. But there is some interesting, nice pieces of wood, and I think some of it is lumber and some of it's got some age to it, and there are some trunks back there. So kind of if we figure out how the doll situation is in this property, there could very well be dolls in it, but I'm not really willing to get in there at this moment. And you can see the bugs have eaten away on these boards. It's never a good idea to have wood touching the ground. And you can see this, it won't be the worst thing in the world to clear this out because it's just little parasitic trees and little twiggly things, and we'll get it all cleaned out. And that's quite a bit of space back there. This might make a nice parking area. So we'll you know, where you can park and you kind of hide it. And then you can see a little bit of the, there is a fence there. So there was a layout, and we'll kind of try to go back to that if we can. Now I'm going to take you over to the chicken house. I think it's great to have chickens because, you know, they keep the insects at bay. So we were afraid of birds of prey here that would get the chickens, but while we've been here, we haven't seen any birds of prey except a couple of turkey vultures, a pair of them that were being amorous in the trees. But this is the chicken house, and again, I think it's quite early. The lady who owned this had chickens, but the house got so deteriorated that predators were getting into it and taking off the chickens. So again, this needs to be completely restored. It's not anything special architecturally, but it is kind of interesting inside. And this, I have to tell you, I'm really not liking this. It's a cockfight association membership. So that's something that I do not agree with at all. But you can see it's got a very early look to it. And it's in bad shape, but I think it could be restored. And if we recycle some of the wood from the other buildings, we could do that. The earth here is like granite in here. So this is 140 years of chickens packing it down. And again, you can see, as I said, they never got rid of any furniture. They just put it out in the sheds. And I would imagine that's a sofa under there is probably from the original family that owned this. There's all kinds of things. So once this kind of sees the light of day, it'll get sorted to what can be saved and what's going to go bye-bye. But you can see a fox or any kind of predator could get in here without any problem. But I do love this post, just this kind of very rusticy post. And this is interesting for the hens to lay. And the wood is very hand-hewn. Let's see if I can find you a square nail. Well, this is a contemporary nail. That was probably used to hold the door closed at some point. Well, I'll find them. And I'm looking to find nails on the ground because you know that's good luck. And this is a very nice little area here too. I believe in the past they used this to park cars in this area. These are not square nails, but again, I think these are, here's a couple of square ones. So that's a really good indicator of age. But again, we have to get someone out here that is an expert in these things because this is not our geography for that. If you ask me if an adobe was old or not, I could probably answer that. But here again, you can see beautiful mature trees. And this is something that's really handy. This is an outhouse and it's completely functional. And those of you that may think that David and I are a little fancy, well, guess what? When I was a kid, my grandmother's place had an outhouse, so I am fully aware of how these work. So I will show you what it's being used for now. And again, we're going to put this back into a functioning outhouse because it's kind of handy when you're out in the working in the garden to have this available. So we will get this restored, and of course there's lots of junk that needs to be taken away. And I think we'll put electricity in it and have it really functional. And of course, you know, we've got to get rid of the spiders and all that. But again, we will take the old wood and use it to fix this all up. You know, we are a contractor's dream. We've already had a gentleman out, and I think he's going to be doing all the work. And he had a fairly new truck, and I mentioned to him that he'll be soon having another new truck after he's done this project. But you can see the land is just really beautiful, not even having anything done to it. Very unusual that somebody's driving down the street or the road. This is not a street, this is a road, and a motorcycle. It's the first we've seen since we've been here. And here again, you can see the early type construction with these poles. And this has probably been sitting here like this for 10 years, just nobody even doing a thing about it. And then some early bricks. And I think we could just go around the property, and if we pick up bricks, we could build something. And again, I love this tree right near the outhouse. I think we kind of need to pull the outhouse a few inches away so it has a little space, but just a very dramatic tree. And this tree is dramatic as well, although everything needs to have just some maintenance, some just plain old maintenance. And I'll show you the back side of the chicken coop. I guess it's a chicken coop, but it seems to be a little bit bigger than the average chicken coop. But this needs to have, you can see it needs all the work done to it. And then there's a little grape vineyard happening here. Doesn't look like, again, it's had any care in a long time. There are wineries in this area, so it's you can grow grapes here fairly easily. So we'll have to decide what to do with this. I'm not real wild about this fence, but we'll cross that bridge. And then this is actually the well that supplies the water to the house. And being from where we are, water's very precious. And it was the one contingency on our buying this, that it had healthy water, and the water came back perfect, and everyone who's drank it has thought it's delicious. I'll show you the big trees, and they are big beauties. So we are enjoying enjoying that. And I'll go over and see what David's doing. I know that he's probably right now contemplating. There is no dryer there's a washing machine in the house, which we're going to show you the house later, and maybe Jason's going to be doing some of the tours on that as he's managing the clean out, because it is just in bad shape. But there's no dryer, and they didn't use it. They used this clothesline, which is a wonderful thing to do, but we'll put a washer and dryer in because, you know, we're just used to that. But what a great energy saving device to have a clothesline. There's nothing better than sheets dried naturally, and towels too, by the way. And here you can see this is going to be David's space where he'll do all his repairs for things, mostly probably for the house. And these trees are going to need to have a little, we got a little kind of a yucky part here, but we'll take that out. And this will keep, even though it's not functional. I just think it's got a great look. And it could be functional, we don't know. It's kind of rusted closed. And as I said earlier, this area is going to change a bit. And we might expand the front space, but maybe not. So we'll have David give you the rundown. Poor David, you know, he takes on the project all at once in his mind rather than taking one thing at a time, which is my thing, as I do one thing at a time and I try not to. He's gone. He's run away. Sorry, I thought he was going to give you the final goodbye, but one thing he did do is he opened the front, the screen door, so you can see the front door, which is really a great front door. It's beautifully made, but the whole porch needs to be. It's probably one of the worst things in the property on the outside. And then of course we don't understand this way of doing a porch with these I guess you call them cleats or risers, and we will put a skirting around that so that it would have kind of more this look. All right, so I hope you come along with us on this journey. I know it's not going to be easy. We know it's not going to be easy, but we're going to take this and have fun with it and really bring this lovely, lovely old house back to life. So, Mr. David Robinson, what have I gotten you into this time?
That's a good question. It's like a pendulum that swings, like my moods and my opinions back and forth. It's a dream come true, but it's also a nightmare come true. I know we can handle this. We've been doing this all our lives.
Haven't we done this our whole lives?
We have. We've taken something like this and improved it. I'm not going to say we've made it the ultimate, but we've improved it. And I think it's been 25 years since we were here, and we kind of fell in love with it and planted maybe a seed at that time, and it's come full circle. But we're going to leave this better than we found it.
I believe that.
And I think that's not to say that people weren't happy here and they cherished it.
I think everyone was happy here.
Yeah, oh no, we knew the previous owners and they had a great life here and they were wonderful people. But it's our turn now to have some peace and relaxation and just take care of it.
This will be our playhouse.
A playhouse.
Yeah.
A retreat.
A retreat.
Yeah, the peace and quiet is just, you can't put a price on that.
No, you cannot. And it has
And
beautiful
where
land.
we live in California is stunningly beautiful. I'm not saying that this is better or worse. It's different.
It's different.
It's just solitude and peace and quiet. It's getting a little crowded where we are because everybody wants to visit.
So this will be
a
our
nice
place to,
escape, part-time.
and then we'll get to do our hobbies, which are fixing things and buying things and gardening and,
Or at least directing the garden.
yes, directing the gardening. So
it's going to be a slow process. We've got to take this slow.
And
Because it's going to be an expensive proposition too.
yes. And
But
friends, we want you to come along with us on this journey. Okay, bye-bye. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.